The driver of this Jeep that sped through a protest on I-225 will not face charges unless more evidence turns up. Copter 4 showing us the protesters getting out of the way of that Jeep. It was back in July. Tonight, the district attorney tells us why he decided not to bring any charges. Good evening, I'm Jim Benneman.
And I'm Karen Lee. Thanks for being with us tonight. Two key findings. One, District Attorney George Brauchler says he believes that the driver tried to escape a crash with a pickup truck and the mob of protesters. And two, the driver drove straight through that crowd and at no point appears to target anyone. Tori Mason talked with both the driver of that pickup truck and a DA Brauchler about this case. Tori joins us now with more.
Well, Karen, investigators interviewed more than 30 people and conducted a vehicle analysis to get a better understanding on what happened on that stretch of I-225. Now, there are a number of charges people might assume the driver of that Jeep could be facing, from attempted murder to leaving the scene of an accident. But Brauchler says the criteria just hasn't been met.
If we're going to allege some sort of a crime, it's never just what happened, it was what was intended.
Several videos show a blue Jeep driving through a crowd of protesters. But District Attorney George Brauchler says there's critical evidence missing that would lead him to press charges.
I'm left to try to piece together what's going on in his head based on his conduct before and after.
Brauchler said investigators don't have video between the time the Jeep drove onto 225 and its collision with a Ford F-150. The driver, Kyle Falkinson, was driving his friend to the airport when they encountered protesters in the road.
I got on the freeway and I'm trying to avoid everything, and a guy was in the far left lane and cut straight over and went right into my fender.
Sebastian Sassy, the driver of that truck, said he had no choice.
He would have hit them if I hadn't intervened.
The DA won't pursue charges against Sassy either, saying a jury could credibly find that he acted to help other people.
Kyle saw that there was a lot of people on the highway, drove around a few people trying to get his attention to stop, and deliberately drove at that crowd.
The driver of the Jeep didn't injure anyone that day, which leads Brauchler to believe otherwise.
If this guy wants to run into people, he had plenty of opportunity to do it way before.
He also had the opportunity to slam on his brakes and not drive 50 miles an hour at the crowd.
Now, the protesters who spilled out onto 225 could technically be charged with obstructing a highway, but Brauchler says he's not going to pursue those charges either, and that's because he still wants people to come forward. He doesn't want anyone who may have more video of the Jeep on 225 that day to refrain from sharing potential evidence because they're afraid they might be charged as well. We're live in Arapahoe County. Tori Mason covering Colorado First.
All right, Tori, thank you. We brought you Brauchler's 90-minute explanation live on CBS in Denver today. You will find us there 24 hours a day on CBSDenver.com. The young man who fired a gun during the protest does face charges. He is 23-year-old Samuel Young from Wheat Ridge. Two people got hurt from gunfire. Police arrested him at his home a day after the protest. He does face attempted murder charges. The protesters were calling attention to the death of Elijah McClain. He died after police put him in a chokehold and a paramedic injected him with a powerful sedative. McClain was walking home last summer when someone called 911 saying that a masked black man was acting suspicious. He was unarmed.